Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
16:45, 45.
That sounds a little hard to sing, so I thought maybe we could just say it. But maybe I'll just say the first. Yeah, first one. Some Bengali. Another song of longing. In Bengali it starts with, in English it's when or when will that day be mine? So, Hobe hobe pola shedi namar. Hobe hobe pola shedi namar. So someone wanna say, someone wanna say the first stanza? No, Yiddish section.
When, oh when will that day be mine? When will you give me your blessing?
When will I give respect to all others and be free from desire for respect from them?
When will I cry out that I have no longer any desire for wealth and followers, poetry and beautiful women, all of which are meant just for bodily pleasure? O Gora Hari, give me causeless devotional service, bhakti, to your lotus feet, birth after birth.
When will my body be covered with goosebumps and my voice broken with emotion as I pronounce Krishna's name? When will my body change color and my eyes flow with endless tears as I chant?
When will I give up all thought of the world and society to run like a madman along the banks of the Ganges in Navadvip, singing and dancing and sincerely calling out the names of Gora and Nityananda?
When will Nityananda Prabhu be merciful to me and deliver me from the enchantment Maya of the sense objects? When will he give me the shade of his lotus feet and the right to enter the marketplace Namamata of the holy name?
When will I buy, borrow, or steal the ecstasies of the holy name? When will I lose myself in the intoxication of the holy name? When will I immerse myself in the nectar of the holy name after grasping the feet of a saint who constantly relishes the flavors, rasa, of devotion?
When will I feel compassion for all living beings, jivas? When will I forget my own pleasure in genuine humility? And when will I, Bhakti Vinod, meekly go from door to door preaching your message of love?
That's the last one?
That's the last one.
Beautiful, thank you. Just gonna say a few prayers here. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chaksamilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namini Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vanchakapataro Vyascha Kripa Sindhu Vairata Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama
guided meditation now. If you could please close your eyes. Sit somewhere comfortably. Take a deep breath in, breathing in presence, Krishna's presence, your presence. And then breathe out all distraction. Breathe in, I am fully here. And breathe out all other desires and places to be. Breathe in awareness. And breathe out all unwanted things. Oh my dear Lord Krishna, for so many years, lives, eons of time, I am standing in the middle and perhaps near the end of my life. I don't know how much more time I have in this life. I have been traveling through so many lives, up and down, chained, imprisoned in the cycle of repeated birth and death, through so many lives, through so many universes. I left you. I turned my back on you. Now I am turning back around to face you. Now I am remembering you. Please accept me. You are always, always seeing me. You are always, always with me. You know my faults, my failings, so much better than I do. Still you are merciful, forgiving my transgressions again and again. You are made of love, and I am part of you. Now I turn to you in reciprocal love, although I had forgotten you again and again. Still you are always, always there, waiting for me to turn to you. My dear Lord Krishna, I am yours. Thank you. So please rub your hands together, create some friction, and rub those hands on your closed eyes. And now you can open them. Thank you. Thank you. So we talked this morning a little bit about how authentic prayer is like molten lava versus cold, hard, calcified, stone-like heart that I so often live in. I don't know about you, but that's where I often live. So what is prayer on the path of bhakti? It's an opening of the heart, an offering of the heart. Bhakti is defined as a loving responsiveness, an opening of the heart and an offering of the heart. Someone is listening, a super friend, a beloved inside. Your heart is listening. So there's a story I like very much about Mother Teresa. I don't know if you've heard me tell this story before, but I like it so much. So this kind of snarky reporter wanted to get a little sound bite from Mother Teresa. And he wasn't looking for something deep, he just wanted a little soundbite. So he asked her, what do you say to God when you pray? And she said, mostly I just listen. And then again, he's just trying to get a little soundbite, you know. So he said, oh, and what does God say? And she said, mostly he just listens too. And then she said, and if you can't understand that, I can't explain it to you. You know? So I've really been trying to understand that. You know, it's like, what is that deep listening? You know, and what is that place? Like, you know, I want that reciprocation, and Krishna reciprocates in different ways, but maybe I'm such a dumbcough, you know, maybe I'm too dull and I'm not seeing, you know, how is he responding, you know, is he, you know, sometimes when we're really longing to hear that response, you know, he responds through nature. We see signs in nature. A little animal can do something like, Jenna told that story of the little kitten showing up this morning. So sometimes through nature, sometimes someone will say something. Sometimes there's some inkling through chanting or you know, with the deities or in service. So yeah, I really want to go deeper into that deep listening, you know? And I don't think I understand it really well, but I want to. And, you know, deep listening, what is deep listening? It means to hear with an open heart and to be willing to be changed by what you hear. That's what deep listening is, you know? It's prayer is a cry of the heart, an outpouring of the heart, an opening of the heart. And it can be the beginning of a conversation with Krishna or divinity by any name. Yeah, I want to read you this little something from, this man, Doug Hammarskjöld. I don't know if you've heard the name before. He was the I don't know what the right name is, but the chair of the United Nations at one time. Actually, he was very progressive, and eventually he was assassinated in some kind of a plane crash. But here's something beautiful that I think speaks to this. You know, so I just said prayer can be the beginning of a conversation, right, with Krishna or divinity. So here's what he says. I think it's a little bit on point. He says, I mean, he was a Christian. He was from Sweden, I believe, Sweden. And so he said, God does not die on the day when we cease to believe in a personal deity, but we die on the day when our lives cease to be illuminated by the steady radiance, renewed daily, of a wonder, the source of which is beyond all reason. You know? So Krishna can come in ways that just are beyond all reason. He can come if we desire it, you know. So authentic prayer, it's not just a lip service. It doesn't come from a place of complacency or entitlement, which I think is part of our big problem. We were talking, is Krishna Nandini still? We were talking yesterday about this concept of affluenza. People are afraid of COVID or influenza, but we don't think so much about affluenza, the disease that's sweeping the Western world, you know. We have so much, we're so entitled, and we want more and more and more. And, you know, we seem unable to be satisfied, you know, in very simple ways. So, again, Mother Teresa, she said something really interesting. She said that the poverty in the Western countries is more difficult to remove than the poverty of the belly that she saw when she was helping people in Calcutta. She said because the poverty in the Western countries is the poverty of the heart, poverty of the spirit. So, yeah, think about it. When everything's all, oh, there you are. When everything's all, copacetic in my life, I'm just fine. Everything's fine, fine, fine. Actually, Prabhupada wrote a poem about that before. Do you ever read his Vrindavan bhajans? He wrote a poem when he was sitting in Vrindavan about, I think it was called, I'm Doing Fine. So you visited someone in the hospital, he broke his leg, he's in traction. You say, how are you doing? He goes, I'm fine, fine, fine. The whole poem was about the modern Western world. I'm fine, so... But it's almost like there's no need to pray, right? When we think we're doing fine, that's part of our problem. So Jesus said, be hot or be cold, but if you are lukewarm, I spit you out. Can you imagine? Be hot or be cold, but if you are lukewarm, I spit you out. So, maybe I'm lukewarm. Do you sometimes feel like you feel lukewarm? Like I do. And still, so what do? Do we just throw ourselves in the trash and get the trash man to pick us up and take us there? No, we begin where we begin, right? We can begin at the beginning. Even if I feel like I'm lukewarm, we begin. But when there's some urgency, when there's some ardent desire, like fire, like molten lava, then we can ignite. So I want to try an exercise. So I talked a little bit about this morning, but I want to do it as an exercise now. So if you can find someone who you don't know and get in twos. So if you have to move around, but just go get in twos with someone you don't know. You didn't come from Delaware with them. And you can't do it. Someone you don't know, okay? Okay, split into twos.
I am, yeah, I just got caught up in management. I don't know you.
Okay, have you found someone you don't know? Raise your hand if you found someone you don't know. Okay, you're good? Okay, so here is, one is A and one is B, okay? And B is going to go first. So here's the question. I'm going to give you each 3 minutes to share. And here's the question that when you feel some conflict in your life, some rejection, some trauma, some problem in life, maybe some illness, some negativity, have you experienced that as an impetus to go deeper in prayer or calling out? What is your experience? So B goes first, and you have 3 minutes. And unpack it. It's not a yes or no question. Unpack it.
Oh, yeah.
All right, switch. Okay, now A, you can share. Give you 3 minutes. Thank you, thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. So, would anyone like to share? Not required, but yes. Shiny Chat will share. We can pass the mic around.
So we had a very interesting conversation about, especially in times of distress, that wasn't really formulation of prayer. It was more dialogue and conversation with Krishna. And we've decided that we're going to write a book called, what is it?
Okay, Krishna.
Okay, Krishna.
I love it.
Dialects. Okay, Krishna. Like, okay, Krishna. And okay, Krishna.
Wow, it's great. I'm sure it'll be a bestseller. Very
I was only
good.
going to have those in it. So that's all.
Really good. Somebody else want to share? From the A or the B's? Anybody want to share anything that came up?
Okay, Krishna. What's happening? Who wants to share? It was too personal.
Anybody? There's a hand back there.
Yeah,
Radhika?
We found that if there's some sort of, something causing us anxiety, fear, or trauma, that sometimes we're not actually praying. We're caught in our internal worry or anxiety, and we have to call ourselves out to actually put that aside and have a conversation with Krishna. But then we really struggle to make that authentic. We found it more like it's surface level. I am going to Krishna on a transactional basis. Could you help me here and now? More than like, I want to build a relationship with you, or seeing that the cause of our troubles is an impetus to go to him and build a relationship. We just get so caught up in the immediate.
Yeah, the immediate can be really desperate, right? And urgent. Anybody else want to share something that came up? One more? Vandana? Okay, Vandana, then Paras too.
So we were talking about praying during really intense situations, and the grace that comes when you show up before God almost like naked with all of your feelings and deep desires, and you're in a situation where you feel like He's showing up to you and He's listening. And we were talking about how rare that is when you truly feel like the veil is lifted between yourself and Krishna, and how precious that is. And we were just talking about how we can kind of return to that space where you're there, and there's nothing in between you and Krishna. There's no ego. There's no impediments. Anything like that.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Paras too.
something I was reflecting on was like different points of my life where, let's say when I was younger and my father passed away and I didn't know how to deal with it, or maybe I coped in certain ways but I wasn't really dealing with it. And we were talking about how sometimes you're forced to tolerate the difficulty and let it change you.
Mm.
And either I am cultivating, like someone said, like I'm working on cultivating that relationship with Krishna, or I'm constantly trying to put out fires in my life.
Yeah. Good. So you're leading us to the next question. One more question. So this time A goes first, okay? So the question this time is, what would you say is the opposite of prayer? I'll give you 3 minutes. A first. Okay. So now B, it's your turn, B. I'll give you 3 minutes. Okay. Thank you very much. Who would like to share? share. Yes, pass the mic, please.
This was a really funny question for me, just because, like, honestly, I've never thought of that before. Like, what was the opposite of prayer? And you kind of were like, oh wow, because I immediately was just like, the opposite of prayer is like misery and death. because because like I feel like my whole life, like even from like when I was a baby, like my mom was like teaching me like prayer from like the basically like from everything. So, and I just felt like prayer is connection, prayer is growth, prayer is intimacy, prayer is an opening of the heart. Prayer is like, that is how you connect with Krishna, with God, with divinity. And like, for me, it felt like for me personally, like if I'm not praying, like constantly, like every single moment, then I'm like cutting myself off from that relationship. I'm digressing. I'm going in the opposite direction. I'm shrinking. I'm isolating. Like it's disconnection. It's isolation, and it's just suffering.
Jai. Anybody else?
So in my opinion, the opposite of prayer is control, ego, and pride. So when I was younger, I used to admire people who would say like, oh, I can handle my own problems, like I'm in control of this, I don't need anyone's help, right? That was like when I was naive. But now that I'm older, I look at it as kind of like sad that these people have no idea how much help can be received in certain circumstances, and how their control doesn't permit them to even go on their spiritual journey. Because we're all spiritual beings, we really are. It's just a matter of whether we realize that it's time for us to be on that path towards betterment in every way.
Great, thank you. Who else would like to share?
We discussed about the opposite of prayer is self-righteousness and control, again reflecting the same. And that's what came to me is the story of Shishupal in Bhagavatam. But that sort of prayer is a conversation, but when conversation is not uplifting and positive, the opposite to that is negative. And Shishupal definitely spoke to Krishna, but it wasn't written. We now call it a prayer, because he actually was cursing. So we're thinking that opposite of prayer is a curse.
Wow.
And since God is the most popular subject at all the times, even nowadays, people don't speak about God in positive terms, but still they speak about God in negative terms.
Wow. Wow. Thank you. Who else would like to share?
We were discussing that the opposite could be a denial of God, in the sense that when bad things happen to us, say the loss of a person close to us or a pet, we might go through this feeling that God is doing something to us, and that why is God making us suffer, and it could actually have that opposite feeling. And just how intricate karma is, and that we can't really tell a person, oh, this loss might be because of some complex karmic situation. That's pretty much it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Somebody else like to share back in the corner?
Hi, something that came up for me was apathy, and just this indifference as the opposite of prayer. And then something else that I thought about was like the performative aspect of prayer, or kind of like a spiritual bypassing through just the external sort of like posture of prayer, or trying to search for the words, but sort of like a performative element of it, which can feel like a shield actually from moving deeper into the internal world that someone has with prayer, because it is such an inside experience. And so a performative sort of nature of prayer that is sort of seen in a material kind of way, right? We can have our beads, but what we don't know what's happening inside, that something appears to be happening, or we think that something is happening by using the material aspects to get us inside.
Prayer to make a show, like,
yes,
I'm praying, see me.
Yeah, like a mask in some kind of way.
Yeah, very, very deep. Thank you. Thank you very much. Anybody else have anything they'd like to share?
We were discussing about how the opposite is sort of like ignorance. Like we ignore and we try to, someone used the term mask, or you take shelter of vices or different things to try to pretend that it's not really there.
Like, see me, I'm a devotee, I'm chanting.
Like that, but a little bit different, like, I'm not a devotee, I'm down the pub, I'm down the bar. It's like
a devotee of some other
something.
Yeah.
Something other, yeah.
Anybody else? Thank you. This is very interesting. You all have such really beautiful insights. So, prayer is an up-facing energy from a humble place. Authentic prayer. We're not talking about prayer as a mask to make a show, right? But authentic prayer is it's an up-facing energy from a humble place. I was thinking that worry, is a down energy. To worry, it said that to worry is to worship the problem. Ponder that. To worry is to worship the problem. So it's so interesting that with the same mind, we can be pulled up through prayer, or we can be pulled down through all the things all of you said. Apathy, ignorance, all of these things. We're pulled down through worry, apathy. So what's worry? What's apathy? A lament over the past. If only I'd said this or done this, if only, right? Or a fear of the future. What if, right? So what would it look like to transform worry into prayer? And seeking a relationship with divinity, looking for that relationship, worry can be uplifted into prayer. And our anxiety can be an entryway. Think about this. Our anxiety can be an entryway into spiritual awakening. We can offer the anxiety up as a prayer of unknowing. Like, I actually had Sherry, the one you read from Thomas Merton, I had that written to read today, but that anxiety is a prayer of unknowing. When I'm full and I'm living deep within myself, then the external forces don't disturb me so much. But when I'm running on empty, right? We all know the feeling, or maybe many of us know the feeling. When I'm running on empty, then I can get affected by everything that comes into my life. Wham, bam, left, right, So take shelter of Krishna in prayer and feel a sense of his shelter and strength, uplifting and empowering you, instead of lamentation over what's past or fear of the future. Fear of the world situation. A lot of people are feeling a lot of apprehension about the world situation. Here's something that speaks to that. This is a riff from something from the Jewish Talmud that I like very much. Do not be daunted by the enormity of the world's grief. Do justly now. Walk humbly now. Love mercy now. You are not obligated to complete the work, neither are you free to abandon it. So, what good is it going to do if I, turn off the water when I brush my teeth or help someone who's in need, but each little, maybe there's a tidal wave of negativity coming into this world, but we can be like little eddies in the other direction, little eddies of hope, So only this moment is reality, and we have a chance to offer this sacred moment up on the altar of our hearts. Here's a meditation. Please close your eyes. Can I learn to see each person as the most sacred person on earth, the way Krishna sees them? Can I face each fleeting moment as the most sacred moment on earth that has ever been given to me? This moment may never happen again, because no two moments are ever alike. I pray in this moment to try to awaken a bit more, breathing in Krishna's grace. Thank you. You can open your eyes. Here's a prayer by Bhaktivinoda Thakur where he says, "Forget the past that sleeps, and ne'er the future dream at all, but act in times that are with thee, and progress thee shall call." So here's another something interesting, because prayer means reaching out to love, right? So when we talk about prayer, we're talking about love also. We're talking about opening the heart to love. So here's something that I like from Thomas Merton. He says, "Love is not a matter of getting what you want. Quite the contrary. The insistence on always being satisfied, on always being fulfilled, makes love impossible. To love, you have to climb out of the cradle where everything is getting and grow up to the maturity of giving without concern for getting anything special in return." You like that one? Yeah. So I mentioned this morning that Nectar of Devotion talks about 3 types of prayer. A prayer for some perfectional stage, a prayer of longing from a humble place, and a prayer of, just giving glorification. So, So think about it, a longing prayer, an aspirational prayer, a grateful prayer, a prayer for faith, a desperate kind of R-rated prayer. Remember we talked about Vandana this morning? Really, you gotta do something! Desperate prayer. So you want to take a few minutes to write, maybe you have a journal, or maybe you could put something in your phone. You can choose what kind of a prayer, but just write a little prayer on any one of those topics. A prayer for some perfectional stage. I just wish one day I could, whatever. Or a prayer for coming from a humble place, or a prayer of longing, or a prayer of gratitude. So take a few minutes. This time I'm going to give you 4 minutes. Okay? Thank you. That's for you. Thank you so much. Here's one that I like from the Islamic poet Hafiz. It's called The Stairway of Existence. We are not in pursuit of formalities or fake religious laws, for through the stairway of existence, we have come to God's door. We are people who need to love because love is the soul's life. Love is simply creation's greatest joy. Through the stairway of existence, oh, through the stairway of existence, Hafez, have you now come, have we all now come to the beloved's door? So yeah, this call and response in prayer, in kirtan, it's prayer, to call out from the heart, even with the smallest sliver of faith, and then to listen in receptivity, allowing a drop of faith, even the smallest entry. So meditation in bhakti is an offering of the heart. It's an upward thrust, a leaning into prayer. And here's a prayer for faith by a poet named David White. He says, I want to write about faith, about the way the moon rises over cold snow night after night. Faithful, even as it fades from fullness, slowly becoming that last curving and impossible sliver of light before the final darkness. But I have no faith myself. I refuse it, even the smallest entry. Let this then, my small poem, like a new moon, slender and barely open, be the first prayer that opens me to faith. I'm going to say it again. I want to write about faith, about the way the moon rises over cold snow night after night. Faithful even as it fades from fullness, slowly becoming that last curving and impossible sliver of light before the final darkness. But I have no faith myself. I refuse it, the smallest entry. Let this then, my small poem, like a new moon, slender and barely open, be the first prayer that opens me to faith. So prayer is a call to that place of mystery where we can call out to find some courage to believe in what we can't see and find the strength to let go of our fear of uncertainty. And I was thinking that an important aspect of taking shelter in prayer is trust. And trust seems like it's the beginning of faith. So when you trust someone, think about it, it has two aspects. Say you have to have a serious surgery, and you have to trust a doctor. You look for a doctor, right? And you trust someone that person should be qualified, right? And compassionate. Two aspects, right? So you don't, a doctor, you go to a doctor, they should have a proper degree on the wall from some institution. They didn't just go to the library, and ask Sherry for a book about heart surgery, how to perform heart surgery, and so they have to be capable, qualified, right, for us to trust anything. You're going to a lawyer, you're going to go to a doctor, anything serious. And second, you think, well, will she be compassionate to my symptoms and be kind and caring? So those two aspects, I think, are the two aspects that we look for and trust. So when you think about Krishna is capable, right, to hold our trust, our faith. He's all-powerful. He's all-knowing. He's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, He's not just like a flim-flam demigod who just, handles the rain or the air or something, He's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, And plus, He's all-loving and He's all-merciful. So, He's got both sides. So maybe we can take a few steps forward in putting some trust in having faith in Krishna. Yeah, again, I mentioned this morning Uddhava's prayer. Who can be more caring than Krishna? He delivered Putana, who came to poison him and kill him, and he delivered her and made her his nurse in the spiritual world. So these sacred names in the mantra, they have their own potency to open our hearts, even if we chant them without much love or attention. But still, when we chant with attention from the heart space, we can access more of the grace of the holy name. What is prayer again? Standing before God with my mind in my heart is prayer. So I was thinking with the same mind we can be pulled up through prayer, or if I'm careless, neglectful, that same mind can just pull me down into worry. What if? If only I did this or that, then can go around in circles, spend a lifetime or lifetimes going around in circles. So prayer is asking for help, direction, healing, forgiveness. It's a gratitude, it's a praise, and it's an expression of longing or desperation, begging for grace with contrition, with humility. And in bhakti, the way up is the way down. Ever thought about that? Begin to realize what's higher, what's beyond me, where I should put my faith, my trust. It comes by falling down on my knees, right? And calling upward. So here's a nice one from Rupa Goswami. He says, although I am the lowest and you are the highest, although I am a fool and you are the greatest philosopher, although I am wicked and you are the most saintly, and although I commit offenses when I think of you, still, O King and Queen, the shadow of whose holy name delivers one from a host of sins, please be kind to this person who sometimes chants your holy name. From Stavalala. Should I repeat the one Sherry read this morning? It was very beautiful. This is from Thomas Merton, Prayer of Unknowing. A prayer from a place of feeling lost, but taking shelter. So he says, my Lord God, I have no idea where I'm going. I do not see the road ahead of me. I cannot know for certain where it will end, nor do I really know myself. And the fact, Jai Shishi Radha Murdida. Nor do I really know myself, and the fact that I think I'm following your will does not mean that I'm actually doing so. But I believe that the desire to please you does in fact please you. And I hope that I have that desire in all that I am doing. I hope that I will never do anything apart from that desire. And I know that if I do this, you will lead me by the right road, though I may know nothing about it. Therefore I will trust you always. Though I may seem to be lost and in the shadow of death, I will not fear, for you are ever with me, and you will never leave me to face my perils alone. Right? He is with us closer than our own breath, but we forget, Years ago, Divyambar gave me this really beautiful picture of, it's this blind sadhu, and he's chanting with his little ektar, and there's a little boy, Krishna, right in front of him. And Gauravani went to acting school. He was in a few movies, and he told me that they told him in acting school, when you're really listening, you lean forward, like that. So in this picture, this little Krishna is leaning forward, listening to this blind sadhu chanting. And of course he's blind, he doesn't see Krishna's there, but he's chanting with devotion. So we're like that. We're blind. He had devotion, but we're also blind. So Krishna's there listening if we want him, So, yeah. So yoga means to link up. Bhakti is a loving responsiveness, and bhakti means to link up in a loving responsiveness. Bhakti is a relationship, it's a prayer, a calling out to someone who listens, sees me, and accepts me for who I am. Here's a nice insight from the Franciscan monk, Father Richard Rohr. I hope I'm not too eclectic this afternoon. I tried to stick to the Bhagavatam this morning, but I'm veering off this afternoon. Please forgive me. But it's all bhakti. To me, it's all bhakti. So he says, when we agree to love God, we are precisely agreeing to love everything. When we decide to trust God, we are also deciding to trust reality at its deepest foundation. When we pray, we expect help from another source. Our prayers then start both naming us and defining us. When we hear our prayers in our own ears and our own heart, we start choosing our deepest identity, our biggest future, and our best selves. We fall into our own hidden wholeness. So I would say we can pray for the humility it takes to find our wholeness in our littleness. My dear Lord Krishna, please give me the humility to see your greatness in others and to find the satisfaction of our sacred smallness, the bigness in our littleness. Find the bigness in our littleness. And I remember being at japa retreats at Govardhan, and the wonderful japa teachers would always say, try to hear the sincerity of your own voice, calling out to Krishna. So, I may think I'm just such a rascal, I have no sincerity, I can't do this. But try to hear the sincerity of your own call and prayer, Yeah. Here's a prayer that I like very much from Mirabai, 17th century woman, bhakti poet. This is a prayer of urgency, I think. She says, to be born in a human body is rare. Don't throw away the reward of your past good deeds. Life passes in an instant. The leaf doesn't go back to the branch. The ocean of rebirth sweeps up all beings hard and pulls them into its cold running, fierce, implacable currents. Giridhara, which is a name for Krishna. Your name is the raft, the one safe passage over. Take me quickly. All the awake ones travel with Mira, singing the name. She says with them, get up, stop sleeping. The days of a life are short. I have a friend in Mumbai. She has, I don't know how she did this, I'm not very high-tech, but she has Prabhupada's voice as her alarm on her phone to wake her up in the morning. And this is what Prabhupada says. He says, get up, rascal! Give up sleeping! And that's what wakes her up in the morning. It's nice, right? It's intense. It's intense.
Sit properly.
Sit properly. Give up your nonsense, rascal! So here's a prayer that I like from, I was in Prague in the Czech Republic, and this is a friend of mine shared this prayer. This is a prayer that her either Catholic or Orthodox grandmother, Christian grandmother, gave her. I like it so much. Oh God, who gives unbelievable adventures, please fill our hearts with the tenderness of your love, so that we love you in everything and above everything, and in this way attain the fulfillment of your promises, which surpass all of our desires. Doesn't that sound like being on a bhakti path? Yeah. And here's a nice one from Rupa Goswami once again, circling back to Rupa Goswami. This is his prayer to Srimati Radharani. He says, I, a distressed soul, belonging to you, beg you with sweet words while rolling on the banks of the Yamuna. Although I am unfit, an offender with a crooked mind, please bestow on me a fragment of the gift of service to you. This unhappy soul is not fit to be neglected by you, for you have a butter-soft heart that melts constantly by the warmth of your compassion. Isn't that sweet to think of Radharani having a butter-soft heart, even if you're a vegan? And then Lord Chaitanya says, so this is in the last part of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, where he's really unpacking I want to share this. He's really unpacking the Sikshastakam prayers, which, later were put into 8 verses, but that whole last chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita is unpacking those prayers. And someone asked the question, if the Chaitanya Charitamrita is the authorized biography of Lord Chaitanya, why doesn't Krishnadas Kaviraj speak about the disappearance of Lord Chaitanya? And so usually people give the answer, well, it would be too painful for the devotees to think about that. But there's another interesting answer to that question that I think is very, very profound. So you know how Prabhupada writes in the beginning, like on the title page of his Bhagavatam, he's offering his Bhagavatams to his spiritual master, and he says, he lives forever by his divine instructions, and the follower lives with him. So this more internal answer to that question is that Lord Chaitanya, he's unpacking this 3rd verse of the Sikshastakam. I want to chant, incessantly, more in a mood more humble than a blade of grass, more tolerant than a tree, not seeking respect from others and offering all respect to others. So the point is that if we can imbibe that mood of Lord Chaitanya, which is like the final instruction in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, if we can imbibe that mood, then he will live forever and we will live with him. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah. This is some internal from one of the acharyas. I heard it from Keshava Swami, but it was very beautiful. That by imbibing that mood, there's no disappearance of Lord Chaitanya, and we live eternally with him through that humility, So that's really beautiful. One other Vaishnava scholar was saying that the pyramid of power in this world has human beings at the top, and all the animals and the earth and the trees and the plants down below. And he said, this is his realization, he said that Lord Chaitanya has inverted the pyramid of power and put the human beings at the bottom to worship the earth and the plants and the animals and the tolerance of the trees. I find that really, really beautiful. Yeah. So in that last part of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Lord Chaitanya says, Prema dhana vina vyarta daridra jivan dasa kori vetana more deha premadan. Without love of Godhead, I am impoverished and my life is useless. Please engage me as your servant and give me a salary of ecstatic love. Nice, huh? And then I just have a couple more prayers here. One that I like so much, it's a prayer to Radharani. This is from Vilap Kusamandali of Raghunath Das Goswami. So he says that, oh my goddess, I'm drowning in this ocean of nescience, and please give me, send me the strong boat of your mercy and ferry me across to the other side. Prayer to Radharani. Devi Dukkha Daya Kula Sagarodhare Duyamanam Mati Durgatam Janam Tam Kripaya Prabalano Kayat Bhutam Prapaya Swadavapada Pankajam. And then one more from the same beautiful book. He says, Tavai Vasmi. I'm just forgetting it, don't have it written here. But he says, I am yours. I can't live without being engaged in your service. Please accept me. Praying to Radharani. So, and then I wanted to say, Srila Prabhupada said something very beautiful, that if you have a prayer, then you should place, you see how Radharani's holding her hand up? Like that? So Prabhupada said, if you have a prayer, you should place your prayer in the hand of Sri Radha. And he said, even if you are a rascal number 1, that she will petition Krishna on your behalf, and she will say to Krishna, please accept her, please accept him. She is better than me, he is better than me. And it's funny because in India, rascal is a really bad word. Like in America, remember the Little Rascals? You probably watched the reruns when you were little. They're so cute and funny. They ride around town with a donkey. Anyway, like for us, rascal is really cute, but in India, it's big. To call someone a rascal is like,
What's the equivalent?
the American equivalent of rascal?
Like compared to Hindi?
I don't know. You have to ask somebody better than me. Anyway, so Prabhupada says, even if you're a rascal number 1, she will recommend you. She will petition Krishna on your behalf. So that's something really, really beautiful to think about on this topic of prayer. So a little bit of a summary. Well, I'll end a little early, but if you have some questions or thoughts to share. But in summary, we talked about prayer as an up energy, and worry or apathy, all those beautiful thoughts you all had, as a down energy. We talked about trust as a beginning of faith. Trust having 2 aspects, capability and compassion. We talked about desperation and urgency and bhakti as a loving responsiveness. And so, thank you all so much. And what are your thoughts? Do you have any thoughts or takeaways, or what was important for you here? Anything you'd like to share? Anything that was new or important or jump up?
Today has been so wonderful that I just wish we could just stay. If you want Rukmini to come back to Bhakti Center, maybe even live, then we actually say If you could take this workshop or another workshop with Rukmini every day for the rest of your life, say Haribol. That's how I feel. But anyways, thank you so much for such a wonderful seminar. And I was wondering if you could share with us a little bit more, because you spoke so beautifully today, and we a little bit wrote our own prayers, and also we heard so many great prayers of great saints. And I was wondering if you could share more with us, maybe how you in your life, or how the teachers recommend we find like kind of our own prayer life between being inspired by prayers of great saints and making our own prayers, and kind of how that dance happens to kind of have a daily practice of prayer. If you could share more with us maybe about your practice, or about how we can develop that practice.
Yeah, it's beautiful to recite prayers that you love from other sources, from great devotees and acharyas, but I think it's also good to, express your own heart from where you begin. Even if I am lukewarm, I could still have a lukewarm prayer, and Krishna's forgiving and accepting. And so personally, what I do, and I've mentioned this to you before, like between my different rounds that I'm chanting, I'll say a prayer of intention, and I find that very helpful. And then try to focus on just listening and breathing and listening to the sound of the mantra, but having a prayer of intention between each one. And then also bring to Krishna to chant constantly, because otherwise I would have to listen to the babble of my own mind all day long. I mean, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like having the monkey on the back at every minute, Or did any of you have kids and you have like a 2-year-old who's just talking all the time? And so we can choose. I mean, I think that's our choice. We can, it's a beautiful thing to pray to Krishna to remind me to always chant, and remind me to offer each moment, each activity. Okay, now I'm going to start my laundry. I'm going to do this laundry for you, and offer each action, and pray to remember to offer each action, and pray to be able to chant constantly. So, we begin where we begin. So even if it's not a very good prayer, it's, I'll tell you a Prabhupada story. So some of you have probably heard this 100 times, but when I was living in the Boston temple, Prabhupada kept talking about sincerity. And it seemed like all I was hearing him talk about was just try to become sincere, just try to become sincere. And so finally I asked him, but Prabhupada, how do we become sincere? And he just looked at me really intensely and he said, how do you become a thief? I was so shocked. And I said, well, you would hang out with thieves and eat what they eat and talk like they talk and find out their best techniques and go where they go, and you would practice. And so he was really laughing, and he said, yes, so you must practice. So, whatever we're going to fine-tune in our lives requires practice, whether it's becoming a thief, a criminal, or trying to become sincere, trying to take the next step on the path of love and prayer and bhakti. So we practice. Yeah. Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji. It's beautiful sharing those insights on molten lava. I think and the sacred, every moment is sacred and all of those. You shared about Mirabai and the leaf anecdote. Really, that inspires my heart. So I kind of remembered the Madhurya Kadambini's Bhakti Lata. So one thing is like we are in some troubled state and we are praying to the Lord. There's prayer, okay, there's mental okay, I have my bills to pay, now not help me. And then having this Draupadi situation or Kunti praying. So it's happiness and distress which kind of motivates at that moment for the intense, I'm talking about intense prayer at that moment of time. But then there are acharyas who have that constant lava state. So more, I'm talking about removing that hindrances in the prayerful state, ananta nivrutti, and being in that different Vatsalyaras and then Radharani's prayer. So if you can briefly touch upon that, being in that constant lava state instead of like being there in the lava state and then first you prayed with very deep intensity, the blockade was gone and then you have like your normal doing your daily life. So maybe how to be in that instance.
I think that in itself is a prayer, you know? You're not praying for, I mean, it seems to me that Krishna puts difficulties in this world so we don't become complacent. Otherwise we would just relax and be here forever. But he's actually missing us. He wants us back, even though he's got thousands and millions and trillions of devotees who are infinitely greater than we are. Still he misses you and he wants you back there. He misses even little me and all these, you know, he wants to embrace you and welcome you back to Goloka. So I believe he puts these pressures and losses and grief and all these things in this world to, you know, to wake us up. Otherwise we fall asleep, we sleepwalk through our lives. So I think what you just said is a prayer in itself. Please Krishna, you know, I'm not Kunti Devi, I'm not praying for more difficulties. I can't handle that. But please keep me in that molten lava state of remembrance of you. Even in my ordinary day, you know, whatever it is I'm doing in New York City, you know, please keep me in that melted heart. I mean, pray for our stone hearts to be melted, but this is the path. Bhakti is the path for melting the stone heart, you know.
Because like when we think about unconditional love, the love that we are creating, there is a distance, right, between, we need to create some distance between the object that is being loved and the person who is loving it, right? So in this case, creating that distance between, I mean, automatically we think there's a distance between Krishna, and that's what we are, right? We are in this material world. So there's a distance between Krishna and us. So how do we kind of bring that thought process and kind of build that intensity is, and again, like you said, obviously pray for that, but we are already in that state. So.
Well, I think that, you know, that that sense of separateness is our illusion, because we are part of him. He is love, and we are meant to love him. He is already loving us, and we have this sense of separateness, the illusion of I and mine, and it just gobbles us up, you know. You know, so that's why if we can walk through the streets of New York as a pilgrim, you know, and just, I'm here temporarily, I'm here, you know, I'm gone today or tomorrow. I don't know how many more moments I have, you know. And so please keep my heart melted, you know, so that it can flow to you. It's not for my gratification, but my sense of separateness is my illusion. Because we're meant to be being held in his embrace. But we say, nah, maybe later. I got stuff to do. I got to check the stock market. I got to see what Donald Trump is up to today. You know? So we create our own living hell, you know? I mean, I'm not saying you can't check the news. You can check the news. Don't let it gobble you up, you know. So I think that's a beautiful prayer. What you just said is a beautiful prayer. Somebody else?
So I have a question about...
Just a second, Vandana, and then you.
I have a question about maybe adding into our routine prayers to the spiritual master, prayers to the acharya, especially on appearance days or disappearance days. Could you speak to that a little bit? Like how and in what mood we should pray to the spiritual master, whether he's here or whether he's departed from this world. It's just something that's always on my mind, to keep that connection with my spiritual master in the years that go by. I don't want that connection to lessen.
Yeah, that's a prayer also, isn't it? That's a prayer. I mean, that was I read that prayer by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, right? He said, whatever attraction for you I have, whatever little attraction I have for you, let it increase moment by moment, and that whatever attraction I have for material sense enjoyment be lessened by your mercy. But I think to be conscious, to not be rote, to not do this bhakti practice as a robot. Like think about the samsara prayers, think about the Guru Vastakam. I mean, think about the meaning of that first verse. It's so profound, Krishna is an ocean of mercy. Divinity is an ocean of mercy. And the saints, the Guru, is like that cloud who's taken the ocean water that we have no access. He's taken that ocean water like a cloud and brought it over to pour it on us, on our dry stone hearts, So I think we can choose to do the practice consciously, or we can choose to do it mindlessly, like sleepwalkers, like robots. And I believe, it will still have effect, but it will just take a long time. So if you want that, live, fire-like connection, write your own prayers to him. I mean, again, I'll mention, I thought of bringing it, but I thought there wouldn't be time, but there's a beautiful book of Prabhupada's Vrindavan bhajans that he wrote before coming to the West, all his different prayers. Amazing book where he's just crying alone, and he's yelling at his godbrothers that, we've been given something so important, and why are you just fighting with each other in your little temples? And, let's all join together. And, it's just amazing prayer. So I think that's a beautiful thing to do too. If you're feeling like, I've got to keep this spirit alive, write some prayers, write. You could have a dear diary, dear Kadambakananda Swami, that you could write. And just keep this alive, I mean, yeah, that's the prayer of an awakened heart. Or we can let it fade out. Yeah.
Thank you.
You had a thought?
Yeah, so when you're dealing with
Mike.
Oh. So when you mentioned Trump, this person's not Trump, it's more personal. And I've kind of turned him into my God because I'm enraged with this person so much. Like I wake up and think about instead of thinking about God. It's just there. Like, what do you suggest for that? Like, I'm turning this person into God for me, and it's not an enlightened person. Like, how do I work with this energy and see the God in them? Release them?
Yeah, I was saying to my husband, Kamsa was thinking of Krishna. My husband's like a real politico. He studied political philosophy, and he was in college, and he likes to read the news a lot. And, I said to him, well, Kamsa was thinking of Krishna continuously, but not in love. And then Krishna came and killed him and gave him liberation. And, Donald Trump is not going to, you can think of him all day, and he's not going to be able to come give you liberation. What's it going to do for you?
Right.
If you chant his unholy name and you get stressed out about, he's going to do this, and he's going to destroy the environment, and he's going to, trash it. He's not going to come and give you liberation. So you might as well cry to Krishna.
Right, just switch.
No, because, and I really like the metaphor of, this is the Kali Yuga, right? We stuck around for the Kali Yuga. That was our mistake. But we got to meet Prabhupada's mission, right? So that's wonderful. So there's this tidal wave of negativity that's coming in, and if you got your eyes open, it seems like it's getting worse. I mean, there's wars everywhere, and children being kidnapped and tortured and killed, and it's bad. So there's this tidal wave of negativity coming in. But I really believe we can be eddies in the other direction, an eddy of hope, an eddy of, and that can be world-changing and heart-changing, see some opportunity to do some small thing. And, again, we go to the place, well, what's my little thing going to do? But no, it's a sacred offering to Krishna. Whatever little thing you can do. I call it radical noticing. Just notice and be a change, right? Gandhi said, be the change. So keep your eyes open to notice what little change you can make in New York, in your life, whatever you do and whatever your occupation is. You can do something, to help some suffering person. And Krishna is not judging whether it's small or big. It's done with an intention of love as an offering to Krishna. Be an eddy of hope in the other direction. And, we have the example of Srila Prabhupada, He came to New York, everybody told, Sumati Morarji. I always think it's interesting, of all the people who didn't help Prabhupada, the one person who actually did help him was a lady. Isn't that interesting? This lady, and she really cared about him, but she was telling him, Swamiji, don't go there, you'll die there. She's telling him, don't go. She didn't want to give him that ticket. But he was so insistent, So we have the example. He did something extraordinary and fearless. And we can, in his service, we can try to do something, And that's a prayer. I think that's a prayer. Give me the intelligence to do something, selfless for someone in yours as an offering to you. Offering to Krishna, offering to Srila Prabhupada, from whatever place of intelligence or expertise we have, I don't know all of you, some of you are, I know Radhika's in finance, some of you are maybe, in finance here in New York, or maybe in medicine, or whatever you're doing, Do something with whatever little gifts you have, or big gifts you have, and do it as an offering for to Krishna, and then it becomes sacred. It's not just finance, and it's not just, IT. It's not just, it's if you do it as an offering for Krishna, then it's sacred no matter what it is. Even if it's, like Krishna's not really accepting the leaf, the flower, the fruit, or water. He's only accepting the love. So that's what we have. Whatever little thing, and that's, I think that's a prayer. Ask Krishna, what can I do from my little place? I spend the whole day in this office, or I spend the whole day in this classroom, or the library, or, the EPA, or whatever, what can I do from my little place as an offering to you to just be a little eddy of hope in the other direction in this dark, suffering world? I think that's a beautiful prayer. Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, well, thank you. Yes, jump in.
I just wanted to say too much. Make sure that people went first, but just one thing that I was thinking about from inspiration from your seminar, and that I found really helpful in my life is just like how you were sharing, like the first thing, the first thoughts that we have in the morning are so powerful, and that's why spiritual practice in the morning is so powerful. And the special time called Brahma Muhurta, when you wake up early before the sun rises, and we have our japa, we have our prayers like that. But what I've always found helpful in my life, and I've been talking with my husband, I think I'm gonna put it on my to-do list. I used to have these amazing recording of Shiva Maharaj actually saying so many prayers that David Prosta from DC gave me. And I would, as soon as I wake up in the morning, press play.
and listen to those prayers and recite those prayers while I would even just get ready, take a shower, even before sitting down to do the japa or coming to the temple or whatever the morning program is. And just listening to the recordings and praying them out loud. And Sri Ram Swami, he actually has a book that is my daily prayers, and it's all of his prayers. And I was thinking, I want to make my own, like, my daily prayers book. And I was thinking, wow, that'd be so cool. Like, everybody could make to the spiritual master, to Krishna. They could, we could get the prayers Rukmini shared today, and we could all make our book of our daily prayers, and also take the daily prayers of Sri Ram Swami, his daily prayers, or anyone who inspires us. And then I was thinking, this week, I'm going to make myself like a new recording of all the prayers. And then as soon as I wake up in the morning, press play and be praying as I'm getting ready. So I was just wanted to share that, that inspiration of like us all finding our favorite prayers and making our book of prayers, listening to prayers of our teachers. And first thing, just immediately going into that state of prayer to create the foundation for our day.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. So there are actually traditional prayers to say even before getting out of bed in the morning. So there's a woman, I don't know if any of you read this book, I think her name is Lynn Twist. She wrote a book called The Myth, you read that? She wrote this book called The Myth of Scarcity. And she talks in this book about how we get up in the morning and as soon as we open our eyes, we think, I didn't get enough sleep. Nobody in this family respects me enough. And at work, nobody is nice to me, and there's not enough green space in the city anymore. And, it just goes on and on and on and on. And so in the Bhakti tradition, we actually have prayers like before putting your foot on the floor in your bed, when you wake up in the morning to say, thank you. Were we entitled to another day? Who said that we had to have another day? Are we entitled to get another day? No. So thank you for this day. You've again awakened me. You've given me another breath of life. Thank you. And given me the intelligence to use this day in your service, to remember you. And it's a really, really beautiful thing to do. You can, if you love Radha Muralidhar or wherever you come from, my dear Radha Muralidhar, please give me the intelligence how to use this day in your service and how to remember you and take shelter of you. And there's a beautiful prayer in the 10th canto about Jayate Jananivaso Devaki Jan. That's like a prayer to be said first thing as soon as you open your eyes. It's like, and the prayer says, Krishna will be victorious. Wow. It's like all my depressions are not going to be victorious in this day, but Krishna will be victorious. And then there's let me utilize every moment, give me the intelligence. That's another one. And then there's a really beautiful one that before you put your foot on the floor, you say, Samudra Vasane Devi, you know this prayer? Samudra Vasane Devi, Devaki, I forget what is it? Samudra Vasane Devi, say it every morning, but now I'm forgetting. Parvata Stana Mandite Vishnu Patni Namastu Byam Padasparsham Samastume. So, my dear Earth, my dear Mother Earth, you're carrying the mountains and the oceans and the rivers, and you're the wife of Vishnu. So please forgive me for putting my feet on you today. So beautiful. So I think that's a good thing. Even if you don't know all those fancy prayers, you can still, as soon as you open your eyes, you can say, thank you, Krishna, or whoever you love. Thank you. I didn't deserve this day, but you've given me another day. Let me use it in your service. Let me use it in remembrance of you. And that's beginning the day with an intention of gratitude instead of like, those kids are brats in that school. I don't want to see another stock report. or another computer, I'm going to throw it out the window. You know, come on, Egyptians can go on and on. Thank you. Anything else before we close? Thank you, Gopal. Yes?
Thank you to Rukmini for this wonderful seminar. And as we meant to offer prayers, so I have a prayer to offer to the Lord, but I offer it as a gratitude for you. You requested us for 4 minutes to write our own prayer, so a little one. You allow me, I can say.
Please.
I don't know how to pray, but I wish to learn. I want to talk to you, O my Lord, all day long. Seeing the beauty and wonder all around me, please give me your eyes, I wish I learned to see. The divine form qualities past times with your devotees. Let my life be a prayer, please make me a devotee of your devotee.
Ah, beautiful. Please make me a devotee of your devotee. Beautiful. Such sacred, holy people. We're so fortunate, Parasi.
Are you gonna read yours? Actually.
Hi, thank you so much. I want to share a poem. I've been translating Persian poems as well into English.
Oh, wow.
Doing a word for word. I just want to translate a little bit of something because I see like many different poems from different parts of the world. So this is Attar. And it's from Letter of Secrets. Dela yek dam raha kon ab و گل را صلای عشق درد اهل دل را, which means Dela is heart. Yek dam, just for one breath. Raha kon, surrender, let go. For one breath, just let go of this world of water and mud. Saloye ishq. Pray. Make a prayer to love and release this pain and soothe this primal pain of your soul. Oh heart, for just one breath, surrender this life of water and mud. Respond to the call of love and soothe the primal pain of your soul.
Wow, so beautiful. Keep translating, make a book. We can all read the book.
Thank you so much.
So beautiful. Those poems are so deep. If there's time, can I read one from my...
Of course!
I don't know, I mean, we did end early, so you just reminded me of... Okay, this one is translated by my friend from Iran.
Okay.
So she's Jewish, but Persian is her first language. She grew up there. So this is her translation. You won't find it in any book. She says, this is Rumi. Yeah. She says, oh friend, which is better, sugar or the sugar maker? Is the beauty of the moon better or that of the moon maker? Oh gardens, are you better or your orchards and flowers, or the maker of flowers and fragrant daffodils? Oh wisdom, are you better in your knowledge and understanding, or the maker of 100 instant insights and perceptions? Oh love, though you cause frenzy and turbulence, there is one who makes fire of the devotee's love. I have lost myself in that oneness of love. I have become a wanderer. At times he burns my feathers. At times he makes me new feathers. His love fills the sea of the heart. He makes countless gems from particles of consciousness. And yet he crushes those gems and dissolves them in love, transforming such wondrous love into something else. He shines in my heart like the sun. He throws arrows externally and makes shields in essence. What? So much beauty, you know, from all sides. So why should we be sectarian and think, I got it, nobody else got it, you know? It's all over the world, there's such great lovers of God. So beautiful. So let's celebrate them and thank them, love them, and become lovers ourselves and approach the Supreme Beloved. I heard something really beautiful the other day that someone said, Jesus Christ said to forgive your enemies, so I decided to forgive myself. So thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for your patience. This was a long haul.
I just have two quick announcements. Lee and Linda, you will remember this when we were in Vrindavan at Radhakund. We had a little puja with Mohan Pandit. Gopal, remember this? And he said, Vrindavan is best. Govardhan is more best. Radhakund is super best. And so if you think that this Art of Prayer seminar today was super best, say Harima! So thank you all so much for coming, and everyone for sharing. If you have already, thank you so much for all those who registered online for this seminar, and so you've already given a nice donation. But if anyone has not registered for this seminar and has not given any donation, please, according to your means, just give the donation directly to Rukmini, so we can support her for her travels here. She's wanted all over the world. But yet, just like Krishna is able to expand time, have you ever had that experience? She pretty much expands time to show love to unlimited people in the world. So from your heart, if you can, just reciprocate with her by giving her a donation for her wonderful time to support her wonderful work. And also she has Urban Baby, it's ladies only, but Urban Baby meets every month online. That information is on the website. She also has a website. It's just rukminiwalker.com. Rukminiwalker.com. Please check out her website. She also has a Patreon if you want to support her regularly on a month-to-month basis to be able to share these teachings around the world. So please check out her website. If you're a lady, please come to Urban Baby. Please support her, and just please love her and support her in every single way possible. And yes, please support her. That's all I'm going to say. And please support her. And just one last time, please support her, because she's really dedicated her entire life to service so selflessly, and she's so humble that she never asks for anything. She will never ask, but please support her. Okay, please, please invite her back to Bhakti Center, and thank you so much. And Rukmini Devi Dasi ki jai! Jaini Taipu wants to make one announcement on behalf of the Community Care Department.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much, Rukmini Devi, for your wonderful presence here. It really has made a big difference personally in my life, so I'm very grateful, thank you. And please support, sorry. The announcement is this. I just wanted to share with everyone, I know everyone is kind of probably eager to go, but you may be familiar, there's one devotee in our community named Kishore Chandra Prabhu. So Kishore Chandra Prabhu, about maybe 2 weeks ago now, underwent a serious surgery to do with his hip. And at the moment he's kind of grounded, probably for the better part of 6 weeks. And so Divya, Devi from Divya's downstairs, has been kind enough to, on most days, sponsor prasad to be delivered to him. So we're just trying to create something in London. At Bhaktivinoda Manor we created a project or program called Krishna's Helpers. And we had a team of devotees in the community that if we ever needed to help out someone, we were able to get in touch, just put it out on the WhatsApp group to let them know that if you live in the area, you can help out, deliver prasad, take prasad, stop by, give them a lift somewhere, do something. And in that way, it generates a care in the community. So often we think care should come from somewhere else. But actually, it's up to each individual within the community to strike that mood of care and love to give to each other. So I don't know if anyone lives in the area. He lives in Brooklyn, near Parkside. But he has a specific dietary menu. But if anyone is there and is, we can have a conversation about that. Or if someone lives nearby here and is willing to come and take prasad from Divya's and deliver it to him, then I'll be around here for a little while. You can just come and speak to me. I can put you on our WhatsApp group and we can really start to expand our community care. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Prabhupada ki jai.
He's the yoga director here at Bhakti Center. He serves on the management team, so he dedicates his whole life to serving Bhakti Center in this community. He's a really incredible devotee.
Thank you. Beautiful. Thank you so much.